One of the big things that this channel is dedicated to is demystifying some of the more complex things of model railroading. Some of the things that can be hurdles to a beginner or someone who wants to go deeper into the hobby so that you can get down to enjoying the hobby and running your trains more. Today we're going to tackle one of those hurdles, and that is DCC decoder programming, and we're going to use JMRI to do it. JMRI stands for Java Model Railroad Interface. Now, what does that mean for you? Basically, JMRI is a free program for Windows, Mac, and Linux that is designed by people who love model railroading that you can use to control your layout, program decoders, do all sorts of things from your computer. Now, there are a couple caveats to that. One is you need to be able to hook up your DCC system to a computer. Now, that can be a laptop, desktop, anything like that. But most commercially available systems do have some sort of DCC interface add-on that you can buy so that you can connect your DCC system to your computer. If you have DCC++ like I do, you can have it just connect straight from the Arduino and it'll see it. This is my DCC++EX base station. I've got the little base station right here, and this is a programming track right here. I actually built this in an episode a while ago, and I'll link that at the end of this video. And this is actually what we're going to be talking about today, which is programming your locomotives in JMRI. It's something that can be a little daunting, especially when you start hearing stuff like what are CVs, what are all this stuff, but JMRI makes this a lot easier. So let's go ahead and hop into this. Now, JMRI has a couple different programs. If you're going to do some programming and programming only, you're really going to want to be using Decoder Pro. The other program is called Panel Pro, but we're going to be using Decoder Pro today. So let's hop right in. Now we are opening up a new thing in Decoder Pro. So the first thing we need to do is we need to click New, and then we're just going to call this DIY and Digital. Click OK. And we'll click OK. Now this one will need to be set up completely. So this is a whole wizard that's going to set everything up. Let's go ahead and walk through that really quick. I'm going to go through everything, and this is where you'll select your manufacturer, whatever connection you have or anything like that. I'm going to do DCC++ since I'm using my DCC++EX programming track, so we'll go ahead and select that. Then you need to select its connection, which is going to be, for me, it's a serial port, which is what USB is. USB stands for Universal Serial Bus, so you'll want to select the serial port right here. And then I'll select it. If you have a Windows computer, I'm running this on a Mac, you're going to see a lot of stuff that is a lot simpler than this. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and click this right here, and there we go, and that should connect. And then we just click Finish, and boom, we have a brand new railroad. So this is the panel you'll get the first time that you open it up. You also notice that I have an off here, and then down here you have programming and everything. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and turn the power on to the track just by clicking that. Then we need to add a locomotive to it. So I'm going to add my locomotive to it. So we'll click New Loco, and then this screen pops up right here. So the easiest thing to do is to click Read Type from Decoder. Now we are set to programming track. If you can do programming on main, you can click that right there, and that'll just pull the information from your main line rather than your track. But I have a programming track which is hooked up to the B terminal on DCC++EX. So let's go ahead and click Read Type from Decoder. Okay, so JMRI has read everything with its decoders and has determined that these are the possible decoders. Now, I happen to know that this is a Digitrax DN163K1C that I've installed in my Kato SD70M. So all we have to do is find that decoder. So all we have to do is just scroll through. There is K1C right there. Now, because I already have this decoder programmed, it does have its address in here, but you can put the address that you want in it right here, and you also have to give it a name. So I'm just going to do NS2583. And we're going to click Save. The decoder is there. I don't know why the screen's doing that little weird thing right there, but we have the decoder right there. So now we can go down here to the bottom, and we have it on a programming track, so we'll select Programming Track, and then we'll click Program. this will bring up our comprehensive programming window. Now we can do all sorts of stuff with this right here. This is the roster entry window, but when we go over to the basic tab, this is where we have all of our information of what we're going to do and things like that. It has all of our address information as well as some other basic things that are for this. So first of all, this thing has an address of 2583 and it's selected the long address, the 2-byte address. If we wanted that, it would be the short address, which is 3 for this, but we're going to keep it on the long address. We can also select the normal direction of travel, which is forward or reverse. So if you're doing some advanced consisting where you know you're going to have a matched pair forever, you can do that right there. You also have your speed steps, 18/128 speed steps, or you can also do 14 speed steps depending on your decoder. And analog conversion, so if it wants to run analog, you can have that on as well. Next, we can go into our motor and we have our kickstart, acceleration rate, deceleration rate. This is where you can mess with the stuff for all sorts of like slowing down, dynamic braking, things like that. So you have all of these options right here. And then we can go to basic speed control. Now, I'm actually using the speed table that I'm going to show you next, but if you wanted to do a very simple speed adjustments for minimum and maximum, you would just take these and you can move them like this. And usually, if you're doing a default, it's usually set to 0, 124, and 255 is a good start. So this is your starting voltage, this is your midway voltage, and this is your max. But I'm using the speed table, so let's go ahead and open up that speed table. Now, this speed table is like this because this is the locomotive I usually base everything off of. So this speed table is like this. So we can read this full sheet just to make sure. And you can see it's actually adjusting everything just a little bit upwards. And now it has read what is on there, and then we have the force straight, match ends, constant ratio, which is that, a logarithmic curve, which would give it a curve like this, constant ratio curve is like that. You can do match ends, which does that. You can do force straight. And none of this will take place until you click write full sheet, or write all sheets, or write changes on all sheets, or write changes on sheet. So if you see, when I hit read, and you can see it goes right back to what it was until I were to write a change. So let's go to the next option, which is function map. Now, if you had some different functions you wanted to do, this is where you could change them. Now, this is just a basic multifunction decoder, no sound or anything like that. So these are the basic functions. I've got the headlights basically is what I'm using here. So we're not going to worry too much about that, but you do have the F0, and if you have a function 1, you can do that. So let's go to lights. Now, this is something you can do that's really, really cool. Now, let's say you have an F unit that you want to have that Mars light, that kind of flashing, flickering effect. That's called a Mars light. You can do that. You can click all of these different types of programming right here. You have random flicker, Mars light, flashing headlight, single pulse, double strobe, rotary beacon, gyro light. All of these are available here. Now, we keep going. We got analog controls. That's simply on or off. Consisting is where you can do a lot of different things. You can override functions, you can give it an advanced consist address, and you can also select the direction in a consist. So we're not going to mess with that right now because I typically do my consisting with engine driver because you can just pick a couple of locomotives that you have speed matched and run them that way. This is a specific option for Digitrax, so we're not going to worry about that because you may be using a different type of decoder. And this decoder also doesn't have sound, but this is the tab where you could adjust sound and things like that. You also have sound levels if it had it. So these are your CVs, and everything that I'm doing over here is basically just a more user-friendly way of modifying CVs. Now, CV is short for configuration variable. So you can basically go in and change all of these to all sorts of different values to get what you want to do. Now, this may be a little daunting, but this is a way to really dial in and program on your locomotive. And I'm going to leave a link to the DCC wiki page that explains what all the CVs are and do. That'll be linked in the description below. And last but not least is a Digitrax specific option right here. So these are your basic things. Now, the things you're going to probably use the most, you're going to use the basic tab,
which is going to be where you do your address. And then you're probably going to use the speed control tabs right here. Now, depending on what you want to do, you can either use the basic or the speed tabs, and then you may also want to add some light functions and things like that. If you have sound, you can also go into sound levels right here. And if you're doing some permanent consisting, you can also do it right here as well. So now once you're done, you can click Write All Sheets, and it'll write all the information you've changed to the decoder, and your locomotive will start flickering like crazy. And those are the basics of programming a locomotive in JMRI.
JMRI really makes programming DCC locomotives a lot easier, and it's worth a little bit of investment because it's going to save you a lot of headache and make that programming process a lot easier and ultimately increase your level of enjoyment in the hobby. I'm going to put a link to JMRI in the description below, and anything that I've talked about, whether it's DCC++ EX or the programming track I've built, I'm going to link those in these videos right here. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Jimmy from the DIY and Digital. Stay safe, be kind, and happy railroading.